Tim, thank you so much for joining us. Look, I'm going to call you the Trump translator because you've been following Donald Trump for over a decade. You understand his thinking, 30 years.
Yeah.
You understand his thinking probably more than most. The markets are lost because we don't know what's a negotiating tactic, what's policy. What do you think is Donald Trump's endgame when it comes to tariffs and policy?
Well, I think Trump's been using tariffs thus far as a negotiating tool. The question is, will he ultimately go to the mats and impose onerous tariffs? And I think that Scott Bessent is an interesting case study in that regard, because here's somebody who was, professionally born and bred on Wall Street, asset management, finance. He's at his core, he's a free trader. No one thinks imposing onerous, burdensome tariff regimes is good for trade or the economy. And if the U.S. really embraced this and really took it on full bore, it would be inflationary. And Trump got elected in part because of all the financial and inflationary pressures that landed on the Biden administration. And so they're going to have a moment where if they really pursue this to its end, it's going to have political and economic consequences for Trump and the U.S. economy at home. But Trump is not a rational actor often, and a lot of what he does is performative. He likes to be an agent of chaos, and that makes him unpredictable. And businesses and financial markets don't like unpredictability.
But so, Tim, what do you know for certain? Again, I've been told, he doesn't want a strong dollar. He's looking at the star market. Unclear, frankly, what he wants with China right now. Or there are three things that you say, that, this will absolutely happen or not happen under Trump.
Well, I think you can look across a core set of issues he's already engaged with, both diplomatic and financial, and he's coming out of the gates making bold claims about the use of force, whether it's military force or tariffs or diplomatic force. And I think he's waiting to see the kind of reactions he gets. You've seen a little bit of a preview of this in Colombia, with the standoff over repatriating Colombian migrants back to Colombia, and when the Colombians said they wouldn't accept them, Trump said, then I'll beat you with a tariff, and then they changed their tune. Now, Colombia is a small economy and it's a small partner. I don't think you'll see Canada and Mexico respond the same way, or China. And those are really the three big ones. China and Mexico Canada and Mexico jointly are bigger trading and more important trading partners to the U.S. than China. And they're also proven allies. So the fact that Trump is going at two nations that share the border with the United States and are massive trading partners at the expense of both countries' economic interests is not about long-term policy. I think it's about short-term positioning.
Tim, what's Greenland about? So, I'm reading copy about, can NATO act against one of its own members if he actually goes into Greenland? Is this crazy talk?
Yeah, it's crazy talk. Both Greenland and the Panama Canal, I think, also are performative. Someone got in Trump's ear and said these are emblematic of the Great Game, and China has an interest in the Panama Canal. Greenland has national resources. It's a passage to the Arctic. You could make a kind of rational case that somewhere in some scenario it makes diplomatic sense, but it really doesn't. And anyone who's sophisticated about this knows that. So I think the issue again is how long does he play at that game?
Who does Trump listen to on any given day? I heard, again, the chief of staff is actually very good at shutting him off. Elon Musk, I think, does not have an office in the West Wing because of her.
Yes.
Does he listen to her, or does he listen to others?
Well, I think he listens to her about scheduling, and he listens to her about access. But remember, Donald Trump is someone who doesn't really listen to anyone else. He famously said, "I know more than the generals." He recently said he's a better judge of where interest rates should be than the Fed chairman. He likes to present himself as the final expert, and he usually is. So no one really has a final say with him, but he's got a much more tightly managed administration this time around. Yeah. I think they're trying to be more on message. They're trying to prevent random access to Trump. Yeah. People used to be able to just call him up on the phone and get him. Those days are over. But he's still not really somebody who takes advice.
You know what I heard in Davos over and over? I just don't want to be in the eye of the storm of the president. Yes. Right? The chief executives are just trying to lay low.
Well, I think in Trump 1.0, the business community watched Tim Cook. and how he navigated Apple's interests, especially Apple's relationship with China as a manufacturing partner. And he managed that by essentially kissing up to Trump. And on the diplomatic side, you saw Macron. He hosted Trump in Paris. He gave him a nice parade. Trump gave him a pass on some things. So I think coming in this time around, everyone's kissing the ring. The problem with Trump is once you kiss the ring, he tries to squeeze you for more.